Positive mental attitude. In my last video, I talked about the concept of intuition as learned from many different sources and discussed deeply through the book The Magic Path of Intuition by Florence Scovel Shinn. If you've not only looked at that video, listened to the audio of it, I recommend doing so because what you're going to find is this positive mental attitude is a state of mind that brings forth a deeper connection with our intuition. As a result of being in a deeper connection with our intuition, we have what is called enthusiasm and self-confidence. This enthusiasm and self-confidence is brought forth through the positive mental attitude during our inner voice conversations with intuition, or our connection with intuition. It doesn't necessarily have to be an inner voice conversation, because our intuition speaks to us in a way that is unique to us. And you might hear me mention a lot, inner voice conversation. Well, that's because that's how my intuition tends to speak with me most of the time. For others, it could be vision, hunches, sensations, and other kinds of experiences, feelings specifically, that bring us into a higher degree of positive mental attitude. Now, what is this positive mental attitude? Well, positive mental attitude is affirmation of where we desire to be. And there's where we are right now, and our goal or our vision or our idea that we want to see brought forth, and the attitude that carries us along this journey. It is in this attitude where we have a deeper level of connection via our intuition to the superconscious mind. We got the conscious, which is responsible for cause and effect reflection and choosing, inner voice of discernment. We've got our subconscious, which is impressed and expresses as the creation, the end result, as well as the journey. And we have the superconscious, which is the source of all ideas, hunches, inspirations, inner voice conversation via our intuition. So thus, enthusiasm and self-confidence are very important for us to reflect upon when maintaining the positive mental attitude, which is the bridge of where you are and where you want to be. An idea is a seed that is planted in the garden of the mind. We all have ideas. We receive ideas within from the superconscious. These ideas are planted in the garden of our mind. Enthusiasm waters the seed into a tree of beliefs, which saturates the mind with related thoughts and ideas. Now, notice this. When you have an idea and you become enthusiastic about your idea, you also notice certain thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that are in relation to that idea starting to be brought forth in your conscious mind, and even your subconscious externalizations via signs and synchronicities. This is what I mean by enthusiasm watering the seed into a tree of beliefs which saturates the mind with related thoughts and ideas. It is through the vehicle of enthusiasm, which makes part of the positive mental attitude possible, that further impresses the subconscious mind with nurturing ideas, hunches, and inspirations, both from the inner world and the outer world, which we'll talk about in a moment, that encourages that seed to be brought forth in the outer world as an externalization of the tree that is formed within. These related beliefs, thoughts, ideas sustain the positive mental attitude. Now, all of this makes up what we call a state of mind. In other words, the positive mental attitude is a state of mind made up of enthusiasm and self-confidence. Self-confidence facilitated by the inner voice conversation or intuition conversation or ideas, hunches, inspirations, and your own form of dialogue with the superconscious via your intuition. That's what creates self-confidence. So thus, in order to nurture our idea, water the seed of our idea, whatever idea is for you, it could be a goal, it could be a vision, it could be a dream, it could be an aspiration. It's something that your heart desires, something that you want to see brought forth, externalized in reality. This idea is given to you by the superconscious for you to be brought forth, and it is the enthusiasm that facilitates the positive mental attitude that brings it forth in the spirit of harmony. So how do we multiply our enthusiasm, knowing that by multiplying our enthusiasm, we maintain a positive mental attitude to not only bring forth the idea in the outer world, but to sustain and develop and cultivate that idea with related beliefs, thoughts, ideas, and assumptions that are in harmony. Well, before we get into that, let's talk a little deeper about ideas. Ideas give meaning to our life. Ideas give meaning to our life. Every day we have ideas, and these ideas is where we are going. We're going to a destination. We have an idea to create something. We have an idea of how we want to live our life. We have an idea of what we want to see brought forth in existence, spirit of harmony, benefit for us, others, divine, and evolution. All of this ideas that we receive within via our intuition, which can be inspired by the outer world, bring meaning to our life. If we find ourselves in certain states of mind that are not in harmony or not aligned with the positive mental attitude, we experience lack of ideas. However, if you do find yourself in those states of mind, then this video is designed to bring forth the idea that you can change yourself into a certain state of mind that will allow you to receive the ideas that are in harmony with who you really are. So in any given circumstance or experience that we have in our life, we can choose a positive mental attitude in harmony with it or a negative one. Some circumstances may be more challenging, but it is in the positive mental attitude that our ideas are received via our intuition. As mentioned, this is where our inner voice or our intuitive connection is facilitated, encouraged, and further developed, which leads to self-confidence, which we'll talk about in a moment. So knowing that ideas give meaning to our life, and we want to have meaning to our life so that we can have this positive mental attitude, live life and enjoy life and create in contribution. We have to remember that enthusiasm, number 2, amplifies the meaning of our life and waters the seed of our idea. So if ideas bring meaning into our life, they give us meaning, contained within the idea seed is meaning for our life, then enthusiasm amplifies the meaning or waters the seed of the idea and brings further meaning to our life, as discussed earlier, that it grows into a tree of beliefs which saturate the mind with related thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that spawn from that idea. Now, enthusiasm moves our body into action, and it also transforms the outer world conditions to reflect the garden of the mind. The outer world is a reflection of the garden of our mind. And thoughts, emotions, and behaviors and outer world circumstances reflect. And while there may be circumstances or behaviors or actions that are misaligned to the idea, our goal is to consciously evolve within by encouraging that idea with enthusiasm to bring forth automatically from a place of flow or autotelic the ideal thoughts, behaviors, and actions that reflect as the change in the outer world circumstance, the reflection of the garden of the mind within. So let's talk about how to multiply your enthusiasm, knowing that enthusiasm will encourage your idea, facilitate your inner voice conversation, allow you to maintain and multiply the positive mental attitude to bring you from where you are right now to the realization of your dream from a place of joy, bliss, and ease and in alignment with how you were meant to create, otherwise known as surrendering to divine will. So enthusiasm allows us to surrender to divine will, which is revealed by the degree of inner voice dialogue or any form of intuitive understanding that you have about yourself, where you are right now, and your goal, your vision, your idea. Number one, affirmations that are in harmony with the idea. So many of you know by now that I'm a huge fan of affirmations. And affirmations, when done in a way that is in harmony with how our subconscious mind believes reality to be and believes ourselves to be, in other words, our self-image, create our experience of the outer world, which is based on our interpretations of ourself in relation to the outer world accordingly. What I mean by that is there are many forms of affirmations, many styles of doing affirmations. I can give you some affirmations. What you really want is to find the affirmations that speak to you. You'll know when you found those affirmations, when you feel more resonant with them. Now, there's many audio programs and affirmations that are available. Certainly, a lot of them are available on YouTube. The goal is to find the ones that speak to you. When you listen to them, you believe them more and more so. If you create affirmations and you don't believe them, I recommend modifying those affirmations so that you realize that part of this enthusiasm is experienced through the gradual increase of affirmation to the affirmation. Here's what I mean. If you have an affirmation that says, I am self-confident, I have a high degree of self-esteem and enthusiasm, and it does not resonate with you based on where you are right now and the contrast you experience in your life, then perhaps an affirmation that goes like this would be more in alignment with bringing you into that state of mind of positive mental attitude in relation to where you are right now and the goal. More and more so each day, I find myself in higher degrees of enthusiasm. More and more so each day, I realize that the people, environment, circumstance reflect the gradual change that occurs within me, which is a higher degree of enthusiasm. Now, it's important to wordsmith affirmations because being a student of marketing and studying under some of the greatest direct response marketers and copywriters on the planet, such as Jay Abraham, I learned the power of words and how words have the ability to influence our subconscious mind, to facilitate behavioral change and belief change. And the choice of words and the nuanced distinction, which may not make sense to anyone else, but really speaks to your subconscious, is what we are looking for when we are creating affirmations. Number two, information that affirms the ideas and affirmations. So you have an idea, you have the affirmations that are in harmony to evolve your self-image, to evolve your beliefs, to evolve yourself in relation to the outer world and experiences in life. Now what we want to do is saturate our mind with information that we can find wherever, books, trainings, seminars, YouTube videos that are in harmony with maintaining the positive attitude and further encouraging that idea. For example, if you aspire to become an entrepreneur and live the entrepreneurial spirit through a service to others, you might consider yourself surrounding yourself with information created by those that have those results. Maybe they speak about the concepts that evolve the beliefs. Maybe they talk about their experiences. Maybe they share with you the ways that they have created it. Certainly I do so in my channel, but there are many of channels that are available, many different people out there that are easily accessed through their content, more so than ever before on the internet, that will further affirm the idea and the affirmations. Now what you'll realize is that that's how you know your affirmations are working, because you will have a enthusiastic desire, enthusiasm again, and a positive mental attitude towards consuming that kind of information. The third way of multiplying our enthusiasm is by affirming the affirmations and information through conscious living of the philosophy. Conscious living of the philosophy. Now, as mentioned, the positive mental attitude, which is a state of mind, is a bridge. There's many different bridges. This is the bridge we want to be on because we want to enjoy the journey and the destination, see it as one. The journey is as valuable as the destination. All is one. So this bridge is the positive mental attitude. As a result of maintaining the positive mental attitude, we have a higher degree of enthusiasm, which further waters the seed into a tree of beliefs, which saturates the mind with related thoughts and ideas. And our self-confidence goes up because we listen more so each day to our inner voice, or your style of communicating with your intuition, whatever way works for you. So this is how we do it. Number one, you show up each day and do your best. As a result, you become aligned with your idea through the evolution of your beliefs. So the different experiences that you have in the outer world, the things you know you have to do each day, can be done from a place of revelation of yourself and evolution of yourself. In other words, however you experience what you're doing each day, you realize that you can change how you look at what you're doing. There are a lot of things that we know we have to do to produce the results, but it's how we show up and do those things that matter. And as a result, we experience a certain state of mind. What we're looking for is the positive mental attitude state of mind, which is facilitated, as mentioned, by enthusiasm. So the key here is to do all those things that you know you have to do more so each day from a place of enthusiasm. Realize that not only is it going to contribute to where you want to go, and you know what those things are because you've had the connections with your intuition to reveal those things, but the positive mental attitude is the bridge of choice. And by evolving your beliefs about the different experiences that you have through affirmation and supporting information, you do those things from a place of enthusiasm, and as a result, further evolution of your beliefs occur within. You change your beliefs around. Because through the experience, you form new beliefs. And what are we doing? We're further watering the seed of that idea into a tree of beliefs which saturate the mind. See, the goal here is to become autotelic. We call this unwavering, lighthearted focus. Two ways of being focused. Force-based focus. Looks like you're trying too hard. And another way is lighthearted, flow-based focus. You're naturally, authentically expressing via your intuition from the superconscious. Alignment, conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Number two, let go of overly identifying with the day-to-day aspects of the journey. Lightheartedness. The key is tension. When you feel stress and tension, know that you're now releasing from enthusiasm and thus releasing from the positive mental attitude and going into a different state of mind. The key is to let go of that. And we'll talk about that in a moment. I also mentioned this in the last few videos that I did on letting go. It's how you feel about what you're doing. Now, the affirmations and the information that is in harmony with the affirmations and the reflection of if you are doing something from a place of enthusiasm and positive mental attitude versus negative mental attitude will reveal to you via your inner voice conversation or intuition within how to let go, which is really only three ways. Number one is to let it go, as in just drop it. Don't do it anymore. That may be what's required. Number two, change the meaning that you have about that experience. Or number three, full acceptance. Accept it for what it is, because the resistance, the tension, is a result of enforcing and pushing certain kinds of beliefs that was based on past programming. And as a result of further pushing those beliefs, we affirm those beliefs and experience even more force on our journey and release ourselves from the positive mental attitude state of mind. Now, the third thing is very important. No one to impress but self. Okay, the way we want to look at this is that our experiences on this journey towards the realization of our goal, our idea, our vision is based on our beliefs, assumptions, thoughts, and ideas about ourselves and the outer world. And our goal is to impress our own subconscious mind. So observe if you're focusing on who is right rather than what is right. The moment we get into force in the outer world, we get into a place of affirmation of that force in the outer world and create more of it. As we remain in the enthusiastic state, the self-confident state, we receive the path of least resistance within via our intuition, which is a result of cause and effect reflection of our experiences and evolving the beliefs and assumptions that we have about our experiences within to impress ourself within. Now, simply put, if you're doing things to impress another person, then you're going to step outside of the positive mental attitude. Simply put, if you're doing things to reflect and impress yourself and change accordingly as a result of the impression on your own subconscious mind via the information and affirmations, then it's going to reflect as the journey of positive mental attitude towards the end result. Because look at this for a moment. When you get into wanting to impress another person, you step away from the positive mental attitude because it is not from a place of enthusiasm or self-confidence. Self-confidence is based on impressing yourself to reflect accordingly. Enthusiasm is from the source within. The source of enthusiasm is within. When we try to impress the outer world or others to get the self-confidence or enthusiasm, we actually run away from it because they're not the source. The source is within. If at any time you get sources of enthusiasm and self-confidence in the outer world, then understand something, that if for whatever reason that is taken away from you, you're going to have to find that enthusiasm and self-confidence within. So, in order to have a sustainable positive mental attitude, we have to remember that enthusiasm and self-confidence is found within by impressing ourselves within. And as a result of that impression, our experiences change. And we have more enthusiasm towards the day-to-day things that we know we have to do, a deeper inner voice connection, and we are able to let go in a way that's right for us, either letting go of the circumstance, environment, information, letting it go, changing the meaning within in relation to that outer world information, or accepting it fully. All of this maintains enthusiasm, which is part of the positive mental attitude. Now let's talk about self-confidence. As we have determined here, real self-confidence is trusting your intuition. Trusting your intuition. If a person trusts their intuition, they automatically feel a high level of self-confidence. Now, I'll share this from my experience on my journey. I thought that self-confidence in the earlier stages was a result of receiving certain information in the outer world that proved that I had a high level of self-confidence. In other words, I was looking for approval and validation from the outer world. I then realized, as mentioned earlier, that there were times where I became dependent on that. And as a result of being dependent on that, if for some reason that source of approval and validation was not there, my self-confidence dropped. And thus, the positive mental attitude now changed into a negative mental attitude. I said I've got to evolve my beliefs surrounding the self-confidence idea. And what I found is that every time I listened to my intuition, I was able to produce results in a way that was right for me. And then what I experienced as a result within is a higher level of self-confidence. And it was reflected by people sharing with me their experiences with me and saying, you have a high level of self-confidence. Now, as I reflected upon what was really going on as far as the change within, the impression of the inner being, which is the subconscious, I realized that what I was really doing was trusting my intuition. Because when you trust your intuition, you know where you're going and you know how you're going to get there. And in order to have a deeper connection with the intuition, we maintain the state of mind called positive mental attitude. Directed from within rather than outer world suggestions. Always remember this. The outer world may suggest opinions, ideas, beliefs, assumptions, but you don't have to choose them or take them for what they are. You can connect back to your intuition and reflect to see if those suggestions as presented to you are in alignment with who you really are and the maintenance of the positive mental attitude or not. In other words, is it disempowering programming or empowering programming? Or is it disempowering programming riddled in a facade of empowering programming, which can happen sometimes? There are infinite pathways which represent infinite opportunities and circumstances. Always remember this. What you're looking for is your own pathway to the destination, the realization, the bringing forth of your idea. And there are infinite pathways that represent infinite opportunities and circumstances. And the pathway that is the most in alignment with who you are is found via your inner connection, relationship with your intuition, via your subconscious. All of this stuff is happening via your subconscious. Intuition guides you on your own path of least resistance while letting go of uncertainty. Remember this. This is a result of reflecting on my journey now for the last 20-something years of working with this information. Intuition guides you on your own path, and it's usually a path of least resistance, least conflict, while letting go of uncertainty. So by letting go of uncertainty, you have less resistance. Because you realize that there's no one to impress but yourself, that the outer world's an externalization of the inner world, that the identity that you are forming may create what we call the ego self, and as a result of it, we will force things into certain directions based on certain beliefs that are revelations of the identity. And the positive mental attitude has nothing to do with that. The positive mental attitude is one of flow. We'll actually talk about this in a moment here because I'm a huge fan of the Emotional Guidance Scale by Abraham Hicks. So what I've done here is I've taken all this and we're going to work with it to a certain degree. How to multiply your enthusiasm and self-confidence via the Emotional Guidance Scale to deepen your connection with your intuition. I realized that we could do that. So let's look at high self-confidence. When you feel a high level of self-confidence, in other words, you are in a positive mental attitude, state of mind, you have joy, appreciation, empowerment, freedom, love, passion, enthusiasm, and positive expectation. These states of mind, or these representations of the positive mental attitude, reflect as our interpretations and our perspectives on what we are looking at. In other words, we identify subconsciously with certain perspectives, and whatever shows up on our journey, we see them, fundamentally put, as opportunities rather than obstacles. Now, if you've got lower self-confidence, then you'll experience doubt, worry, discouragement, anger, jealousy, insecurity, and fear. Not necessarily all of them, but these are indicators. Okay, these are indicators. Now, if any of these show up as far as lower self-confidence, we want to remember that if we dwell upon any ideas, any thoughts, any beliefs and assumptions related to doubt, worry, discouragement, anger, jealousy, insecurity, and fear, we're going to let go of what we don't want to let go of, which is the positive mental attitude. And as a result, we'll find ourselves with less enthusiasm and less self-confidence. So we apply what I talked about in one of my recent videos, 3 ways of letting go. Inspired change, as in via your inner voice conversation or your intuition, you learn about the changes you want to make to yourself through affirmation, through information, and also in the environment. You accept, fully accept. In other words, let's look at it. Let's say you're experiencing doubt. If you have a hard time understanding what that doubt means to change your beliefs and assumptions about that doubt, just say, look, this is how I feel right now. I feel doubt, or I feel worry, I feel discouragement, I feel anger, I feel jealousy, I feel insecurity, I feel fear. Just accept it. Now, this may not be what you need to do. All of this is found via your intuition, but let's just say your intuition guided you to full acceptance. What you'll find is that by just accepting it, you'll actually let go of it. You'll release from it. And as a result of letting go and releasing from it, you will find yourself having positive expectation, enthusiasm, passion. And the third is unconditional release, as in whatever it is, whatever source of information is instilling in you or affirming in you doubt, worry, discouragement, anger, jealousy, information, fear, whatever it is in the outer world, let it go. Because for whatever the reason, your intuition wants you to let it go. Now, all of this is found via your intuition and your connection, more specifically put, your connection with the superconscious, with the universal mind. Now, with the only 3 things that you can do, inspired change, full acceptance, and unconditional release, you can reflect upon whatever it is you're experiencing from the lower self-confidence-based elements here, doubt, worry, discouragement, anger, jealousy, insecurity, and fear, and find your answer within. See, we want to develop the ability to find the answer within. If we're constantly looking for the answers in the outer world, then how do you build your connection with your intuition? This is part of the journey. At a certain stage in your journey, you're going to be inspired from within to build your inner voice connection, your intuitive connection. You're going to find that. And at that point, you're not going to want the answers from other people. You're going to want to find the answers within. That's because, as mentioned, your ideas come from the superconscious. They're your own unique ideas. In the process, we talk about what happens over the last few videos. You purify your mind. You release the beliefs and assumptions that you have that are doubt-based, worry-based, discouragement, anger, jealousy, insecure, fear. Going back to what we said in the beginning, enthusiasm waters the seed into a tree of beliefs which saturates the mind. In other words, your mind gets saturated with the empowering beliefs, thoughts, ideas, assumptions about yourself and the outer world. Now, the answers are, as mentioned, at a certain stage of your journey, and you'll know when you're on that stage of your journey because you'll want to listen to yourself more. You may even find yourself rebelling when people give you advice. You don't want their advice because intuitively, you want to learn how to find your answers within, just as maybe they have found the answers. Now, as you find the answers within, and I trust that this video will help you on this journey, you will notice that you'll have a greater ability to discern between the information that you receive in the outer world and the accurate information that is in alignment from your inner world with the idea and the journey to maintain the positive mental attitude. And if you find yourself at any point stuck on the journey or confused on the journey, reflect back on this emotional guidance scale and realize that self-confidence is part of it. Trusting yourself. Self-confidence, as mentioned, is more about trusting your intuition. That's what I have found on my journey, more accurately put at this level, the true meaning that is in alignment with who I am and my journey. And this may also resonate with you. Now, as you maybe use this as a guide, with whatever it is you're experiencing on your journey, you ask yourself, is this contributing to high confidence, self-confidence, lower self-confidence? Does it fall in any of these categories here? And if it is in lower self-confidence, there's only 3 things you could do. You could change yourself within. You can impress your own subconscious mind and thus change how you relate to whatever it is that you are thinking in your mind or the outer world circumstance or information. You can fully accept it the way it is, knowing that when you accept it the way it is, it doesn't necessarily mean you agree with it, but you will transcend from it, from the binding of the lower level of self-confidence that's associated with that aspect, into higher level of self-confidence, or you unconditionally release it. Now, when I say unconditionally release it, means there's no strings attached. You give peace and blessings to whatever it is that you release in the outer world. Whether it be a certain environment, you choose not to live there anymore, you release it, you let it go. Maybe it's a certain kind of information that never really resonated with you, or maybe it did at one point, but now it no longer resonates with you. You let it be, let it go. Because if you don't do it that way, you'll find yourself still having a spiritual cord of attachment to that. And it'll continue to pop up in your thought processes. That's because it hasn't been excluded or released out of the garden of your mind. So let's reflect upon this in grand summary. Positive mental attitude is a state of mind. It is based on the foundation that you have an idea of what you want to create. You have a goal, you have a vision. And the journey to get there is one where we choose positive mental attitude so that we can facilitate further this intuitive connection with the superconscious. This is done by watering the seed with enthusiasm, knowing that ideas give meaning to our life. Enthusiasm amplifies the meaning in our life and further waters the seed of our idea. As a result, we begin to trust ourselves more. We have a deeper connection with our intuition, and our self-confidence increases. And if anything shows up on the journey which appears to drop our self-confidence, we can let it go in different ways so that we can maintain to further affirm the positive mental attitude. So reflect upon this and visit this video regularly as you go on your journey so that it can further contribute to you maintaining your positive mental attitude so you can have your journey to be as joyous as the destination or the realization of your idea. If you want to copy this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.